So hi guys and welcome back to my team career mode 2.0, and here we have in the last 3 races of this season. Obviously we are having a really amazing fight between Lando, Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc. But first of all, let's just go into the facility problem we have, and we have to invest in new tech or stick with current methods. So obviously it will increase the cost, so obviously we need to invest in new tech. That's why 100% we can use the money we have. And here we have Yuki Tsunoda and game talks with him. Obviously he and Jack Doohan, these two are the drivers I am trying to hire. So let's just see what Yuki has for us, and obviously what are his demands. That is the main goal for us. Let's see. And this is the goal. So performance clause removed, annual salary request is reduced by 5%, and chance of success increased by 10%. Obviously vehicle performance is 4th is what Yuki is asking, and 6.6 million almost is this annual salary, and 700k signing bonus. I think we can do that, so let's just agree to it. Obviously we can do something about him, and I think Jack Doohan will also be the one we want to hire. So here we have, guys, your engineering facility has had a freeze in effect for some time now. While it's important to manage our operating costs, okay, so we have freezed our headcount, so let's just increase the workforce, guys. Obviously we have 252 max capacity, so let's just increase that as much as we can. And here are the activities done, doesn't really matter. And guys, the point system, here we have, obviously we are 11th and 15th for Jack Crawford and Lucas Blakely, but guys, Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc are separated by only 2 points for the championship. Obviously Oscar Piastri is there and thereabout, but it is a little difficult for him to do anything, but he is still only 6 points behind Charles Leclerc. So we have our development paused. Is it because we do not have enough workforce going around? And all of the upgrades are, guys, all the upgrades are paused. I don't know why that is, but let's just go into the research department, because if we can research anything here, that will be good, because we have 1.6 thousand resource points. So chassis, it will be a little difficult to do anything in the chassis department. Let's just go and major energy recovery system, rotor speed, that will help us, guys. So we have 1.7 million. We can upgrade something. Should we do research expansion on the aero, or we could do some kind of breakthrough? But we have decided, guys, we are going with research expansion, doing 2 together, because obviously next season we are going to have something, and we have failed 2 upgrades. And why has that happened? Okay, so it's because they have paused,
for more info.
and I honestly do not understand why they are still paused. And again, another upgrades have failed. I just don't get it, guys. Why are these upgrades paused?
looking to work with us.
I think it is because of the workforce, but I don't know why, any reason other than that. So secondary sponsor, we have got 7, but I think we have done almost all the secondary sponsors. So let's just see, we have 1 training point left. So let's see, we are going with reduced time taken to develop upgrades by 15%. That will be helpful, guys. 15% can be a day or 2, that will be helpful. And look at that, finally the upgrades have started again, and we have already failed a chassis one, and we have also failed a upgrade in the powertrain. That is annoying. Obviously we have 500k, but we do not have that much money to spend. Obviously we can do it, but at this point, guys, I did not see that we had a third option open for the chassis, but it doesn't matter. We have 1.4 million, and research has delayed for the rotor speed, a major energy recovery system for us, but that doesn't matter. And we have failed another energy store upgrade. That is annoying. Obviously we have 1.2 million now, and now we have bought the roll dampers. That will be helpful. And obviously we have so many upgrades in the line, we can use them. So in the USGP, guys, let's just go and see what we can do. First of all, let's see which we are going to choose the driver. I think we are choosing Jack Crawford, guys, because I thought about it and Jack Crawford is the one we haven't chosen. So let's just go. And obviously, guys, I forgot to show you that we are going to take engine penalty in this race. So let's just go into the qualifying.
It's a United States love affair with Formula One at the moment, so what a thrill for everyone today to see our drivers lapping COTA at full hot lap speed. It's the Circuit of the Americas, and it's qualifying.
So obviously in the sprint qualifying, guys, we are here and let's just go what we can do. Obviously let's use everything we have. First of all, in the medium tires, obviously first of all we have to see is how much tire wear we are going to face in this race, because tire wear is our Achilles heel in this race. Because, well, not in this race but in the last couple of races like Singapore and Azerbaijan, because the traction has some kind of problem with us. But I think there are many medium speed corners in this race or in this track, so it might be not that difficult to save our tires. But first of all, let's just see into the sprint race. First lap done and we go P2 just behind Hamilton, and we just skipped it because we knew that we can stay here, and fifth is what we got. Obviously our teammate was knocked out into P21, and Fernando Alonso too in the Aston Martin is out. So I thought about it, guys, and I thought, you know what, we can do another run because these tires won't be coming for us in the next race. So I thought, you know what, let's just use them as much as we can and then we will worry about that later. So first lap done, on to the medium tires. Obviously this qualifying doesn't really matter, guys, because it doesn't matter if you qualify on pole, we will be knocked out and we will start in P20. That's why on to the first lap, well, into Q2, I thought about it, you know what, let's not do another lap, let's just wait and we will take our penalty with Yuki Tsunoda, who is also out. That is crazy, guys. In the Red Bull he is out, but that doesn't matter, guys. So I thought, you know what, let's just take another penalty. What's going to matter? And let's just go into the sprint race.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. We have 10 turns to the left and 10 turns to the right here at the fantastic Circuit of the Americas. Overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and turn 12 at this anti-clockwise track. It's 3.6 miles long and we should see average lap speeds of around 126 miles per hour. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri and Hamilton, Antonelli, Albon, Sainz and Esteban Ocon, Tsunoda, Hadjar, Nico Hulkenberg and Stroll, Doohan, Gasly, Fernando Alonso and Ollie Behrman, Lawson, Blakely, Bortoletto and Jack Crawford rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. And alongside me for this afternoon's commentary, Naomi Schiff. Good afternoon, Gnomes. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. Now, you're the racing driver in this partnership, so tell us about this racing driver. Put us in their shoes. How are they going to be feeling?
It's a very special time for the drivers. It's almost like everything around you slows down and you become hyper-aware. So your nerves slightly go up, your adrenaline's going up. It's the perfect time to start focusing on your visualizations and preparing for the race. So you want to avoid distractions and really stay cool, calm and focused.
So in the sprint race, we have taken almost all the components, and obviously I thought about it, guys. I thought that because we are going to be in last anyway. So let's just use the soft tires and let's just increase the performance, the tire pressure of these tires so that we can use them a little bit more. But here we are into the sprint race with 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are going for the US sprint here in Texas. Max Verstappen getting an amazing exit. Charles Leclerc trying to overtake Lando Norris there, but he has to stay there, and it's 3 wide between Leclerc, Norris and Russell. Russell has stayed in front, but Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris still going side by side, and we have here, we are in P11. How had that happened? Let's see our start. We got, I think, a really amazing start there, gaining 9 positions there, and let's see, obviously we were starting P20, and look at that, he threw the inside of Ocon, Sonoda. We have overtaken these guys. Obviously soft tires, we have much better grip on these tires. Obviously Yuki has stayed in front, but what an amazing start from P20 to P11. That is amazing, guys. Still we might be able to score a point here. I wasn't even hoping for getting this amazing start, but we have gotten it, and now they're pushing Ocon a little bit there so that we can stay in front. These tires, we have to keep them in check, otherwise they are going to burn out very much. But through the inside of Sonoda, we go pushing him wide a little bit so that we can get a better exit than him, and we have taken it, and we are now into P10. 2 points, 2 positions behind the points paying position. So here we can do it, and through the inside of Carlos Sainz, we go for it. Look at that, putting a little bit pressure on Carlos Sainz, even banging wheels with each other, and we have now overtaken him. And look at that, guys, Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc still going side by side, but Charles Leclerc finally have overtaken Lando Norris. Obviously these guys, the real championship rivals, these two are. Obviously Piastri is also there, who is also trying to fight, and here is lap 2, and through the inside we go on Alexander Albon, almost cutting the corner, but obviously we had two tires onto the racing time at all the times, and look at that, still going side by side. But here we go a little bit wide to give the position, and we go very almost cutting the track there, guys, but we had to give Alexander Albon his position, otherwise we could have gotten some kind of penalty there. But guys, still soft tires, the first 2 to 3 laps is where we will get amazing grip, and through the inside we will go on Alexander Albon again, cutting the track almost, but obviously we still had 2 tires onto the tarmac. That's why we still are able to fight with Alexander Albon. Look at that, using all the battery, we have Alexander Albon, and there is Yuki Tsunoda coming for us, but we go on the racing line into the braking, we cut across Carlos Sainz, and both of us, Carlos Sainz and Jack Crawford, we both slide out of the corner, but that doesn't matter, guys. Lap 4, we have stayed in front, and now the goal is to stay in front of these guys. Obviously, guys, I'm not trying to score any points, I'm not trying to go and attack any of the other guys. My goal now is to stay in front of all the drivers behind me. So that's why I started to go on non-ERS. I knew that what we can do, and here is Yuki Tsunoda trying to overtake us, but we push him in the grass little bit. Obviously you might be able to get a penalty for this in real life, but obviously this is a game, you don't really get that. And look at that, almost cutting the track there, but we have stayed in front. Again, this is the attack we will have to face from Yuki Tsunoda, but obviously, guys, if we look at that, we are on non-ERS, so if we can save the ERS as long as we can onto the DRS straight and onto the main straight, the start finish straight, we can stay in front, because using the ERS is all we can do, and obviously not giving them any kind of slipstream that will work. Obviously the dirty air effect is also very prominent here. So here we have Yuki Tsunoda trying to overtake us. Obviously we have to box, but I am not going to box because we will be plumb last, and that is not something we want. Obviously these tires will be in puncture region till the end, at the end of the race, but it doesn't matter, guys. Even if we get a puncture, we will still have nothing to lose here, and that's how I am driving, because I know, guys, I have nothing to lose here. And we have a yellow flag for what? Okay, we do not know what it is for, so it doesn't matter. We can just stay in front, try to keep ourselves in front of Alexander Albon and Yuki Tsunoda, who is fighting with each other. This gives us a lap or two chance to just breathe a little bit, try to save the ERS a little bit more. Look at that, we are straight away none. After, as soon as I went to turn 1, I put it none on the ERS. I knew it, and it's Jack Doohan. Jack Doohan, the driver we are trying to hire, is out of the race. This is good for us, guys, because this will make Jack Doohan, well, this will make our offer to Jack Doohan a little bit more, well, attractive. So that's why it's a good news for us, and we have saved 93%. Look at that, Yuki again went for it, but we pushed him inside of the track. That means his, well, traction has gotten much worse than us, and that's why we have stayed in front. And look at that, using all the battery, we have now got 8 tenths out of us, and this is what we have to do, guys. Obviously it's a little difficult to do every lap in and out, but we have to do it, guys. There is nothing else we can do. So at the end of lap 7, starting lap 8, we have the tires on brick orange now. This is the time we have to save these tires. Obviously, guys, I am saving these tires. The only time I am using these tires a little bit too much is when I'm trying to get traction out of the DRS corners. Look at that, using all the grip at the end of lap 8. That is all we have to do, and the tires now are red. The tires are red and we have to do 2 laps on it, but Yuki is not waiting for it and he tries to go for it. But look at that, guys, we are just snaking away in front of Yuki Tsunoda and he can't really do anything. Obviously we are making a car as big as possible to Yuki Tsunoda. Obviously, look at that, guys, I have no grip. These tires are just sliding so much now that it's really difficult to control them. But still, guys, I am trying. Look at that, almost going onto the grass because there is no grip, and I think my front is way too heavy, well, way too light, sorry, and it kinds of, go here and there very quickly. That's why I have to stay in front of Yuki Tsunoda. Obviously this time he might be able to get a chance because he's only 3 tenths behind, but obviously, guys, we have thrashed that attack from Yuki Tsunoda. He won't be able to do much. So starting obviously our last lap here with Albon, who will try to attack us, but obviously he will go through the inside and we will try to defend his attack again by going through the inside, around the outside and pushing him in the grass again. So look at that, guys, it's brick red now, the tires are, and here is Carlos Sainz trying to attack us, but obviously we have the pace. But here is Max Verstappen, who wins the sprint race by 5 seconds to George Russell, and Charles Leclerc comes in front of Piastri, and Lando Norris, his teammate, well, his rival, sorry, ends up into only P6. That is bad, and obviously we are here just trying to stay sliding. Look at that, how much slide we are doing, and we have to look at that, trying to just push ourselves in front of Alexander Albon. That was almost little difficult for us, but guys, we have scored a point. We have scored a point starting from P20. That is amazing, and obviously the driver of the day goes to us. And look at that, points paying position have been completely done, and obviously Lando Norris only scores 3 points, and obviously Charles Leclerc is now in front in the championship, and Jack Doohan the only one who retires. So guys, let's just go into the qualifying.
It's a United States love affair with Formula One at the moment, so what a thrill for everyone today to see our drivers lapping COTA at full hot lap speed. It's the Circuit of the Americas, and it's qualifying.
And obviously into the qualifying, guys, soft tires we are using. Obviously I saved 1 set of mediums, but guys, it wasn't really a problem, because honestly if we have started on mediums, that would have helped us much more, because there is rain in the race. So honestly it looks like it was a moot point trying to save those medium tires, but alas, guys, it doesn't matter now. We have still scored 1 point, and let's just go into this qualifying now. We are now P3, and I thought about it, let's not do another run, and because of that we are now into P9 and our teammate is out. He's in last, and look at that, guys. Fernando Alonso is P17. He is also out. I don't know what's happening to him. He is an amazing driver, and obviously Aston Martin is actually, I think, 6th or 7th best car, so getting this kind of positions isn't something good for him, and I guess, guys, that is the reason he's retiring out of the after this season. So first lap into Q2 for us, obviously a used set of tires. Let's see what we can do. Obviously pushing 100%, don't really have to brake too much here in turn 19. So into the last corner, let's see what we can do. Obviously 136 and 137.1, and that is 4/10 behind Piastri. That means, guys, Piastri is in P10, so we are now into P14, Piastri into P12. So this lap is going to count very much. So here we are starting our second lap into Q2, and let's just see. Obviously we are losing time, but now we have started to gain 1.5 tenths what we have gained. Obviously it must be a little difficult to do a lap on those soft tires, used one, but this time we have the best grip on the house and obviously other drivers too, but it doesn't matter. Look at this, guys, we are only half a tenth faster than Hamilton in our first sector, and but still, guys, we have gained 5 tenths, and at the end of the final sector, second sector was purple, we have gained 1.1 second. We need to do a good run here so that we can, well, cement ourselves into Q3. So into the final corner, taking the curb a little bit too much there, but it doesn't matter, using everything. 1.4 second gain almost, and we are into P5. That is good. Obviously we might have the pace in this race, and Lewis Hamilton, I thought it's going to happen, and he is out of Q2, and obviously Alexander Albon too. Obviously Lewis Hamilton is not able to perform that much, guys, in this season. That's why Ferrari won't be able to win any championship. So here we have, obviously, on our second lap into Q3. Obviously I did not show you guys the first one because it doesn't really matter, and it was 136.4, which is honestly a really good time on a used set of tires. So it will be a little difficult to get any kind of time through these tires. Obviously the only time you can get now is through tire delta, because we do not have any performance left on the car. So we are still using everything, guys, trying to push ourselves, and into the first two sectors we have gained 5 tenths, and this might have cost us a little bit, but we are still 6 tenths, guys. 6 tenths is a lot of time in this car. So can we do a good lap? Can we get ourselves into P3, even P4? Well, I really want to say P2, but it's really difficult to get onto the top row. So here we have, let's see, is it P3, P4? It's P5. It's P5, but guys, still it's P5. That is big, and Yuki Tsunoda starts alongside with Max Verstappen into pole, and Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris into P2 and P4. So the championship rival are going to fight it out onto the track. So guys, let's just go into the race.
Well, you don't need me to remind you that Formula One is now so beloved in the United States that we race here 3 times a year. But let's give respect to COTA, or the Circuit of the Americas, to give it its full name. This place laid the foundations for this moment and still remains the host of the US Grand Prix. It's 10 to the left and 10 to the right. I'm not talking about a line dance, I'm talking about the corners here at the fantastic Circuit of the Americas. Overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and turn 12 at this anti-clockwise 3.6 mile track. But we may well see cars struggle to slow down here today as the wet weather interferes with the low-speed grip. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. Edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Leclerc, Jack Crawford and Tsunoda, Piastri, Sainz, Antonelli and Alex Albon, Bortoletto, Gasly, and Sir Lewis Hamilton. And Behrman. Lawson, Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, and Lance Stroll. Hulkenberg, Hadjar, Blakely, and Jack Doohan rounds off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And alongside me, bringing glamour and expertise to our commentary today, Naomi Schiff. And let's talk momentum with this driver. What a sprint it was. They start at 0 once again for today, but with a huge amount of confidence, surely. Well, they'll definitely be glad that there's not a sprint race today. Let's face it, the sprint couldn't have gone much worse, but what we're looking for today is a reaction. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, every driver certainly has their own way of preparing themselves before a race. But I can tell you that pre-race rituals are a real thing. When I was in go-karting, I used to touch every wheel in a specific sequence before I got into the kart. And then I stepped up to cars and had a specific set of fireproof base layers just for race day. So watch the drivers when they're on the grid. Some may be sitting on the floor and isolating, others may be up to other things that they do. But these little things really help their minds get ready for the race.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So obviously, Jack Doohan took a penalty, guys, and he is still in front of our teammate. So that doesn't matter. It's going to be inters to, I guess, medium or hard. So let's just see what we can do first. Let's just go into the race with 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we're gonna go for the main race in the USGP. Max Verstappen tries to cover off Lando Norris, and Russell tries to cover off Charles Leclerc, and we get an amazing shot there. And we will try to go around the outside, and Charles Leclerc has been overtaken by us, but Max Verstappen and Lando Norris still going side by side, and there is Charles Leclerc trying to attack us, but we are into P3. We have stayed in front, and Lando Norris trying to overtake Max Verstappen, but I had to stay behind him, and now the goal for us is to stay in front of the cars behind us as always, and we are into P3. We are into podium paying position for Jack Crawford. Jack Crawford, who has already won a race in the Spa GP, which was honestly really amazing. It was a little bit of using our brain, not going on a 2-stop strategy like the other AIs and going on to 1. But here, our main goal for now is to defend. So obviously, guys, in rain it's not going to be that difficult to defend. Obviously, there is no DRS help, and we have a little lower rear wing because I just went into the dry setup, and I thought, you know what, we can stay onto the dry setup and we can do something, because the half the race is going to be on dry. So lap 4 we have stayed in front of these guys, but look at that, guys. Max Verstappen 4 seconds in front of Lando Norris, and Lando Norris is in front of us by 9 seconds. And here is Charles Leclerc trying to attack us, but we will try to outbrake him, and we have done it. Look at that. We are still giving Charles Leclerc enough of a space, but obviously this time we are going to be through the inside, banging wheels there, but we have stayed in front of Charles Leclerc. That is good. Obviously, guys, I think it will be a little difficult to keep Charles Leclerc and George Russell and all these heavy lifter in the drive, but I think we can do some work here so that we can score some big points. And look at that, going wide there, and this was mostly, guys, to avoid a warning there, but honestly we still got a warning, but it doesn't matter. And here we have through the inside, Charles Leclerc goes for it, and he will try to attack us, and look at that, guys, we again push him wide onto the grass, almost onto the grass, but that means, guys, we this time also get a worse exit than Charles Leclerc, and because of that Charles Leclerc has now overtaken us. Obviously it doesn't work on world class drivers, this technique. Obviously also it's raining, so putting power down is also very difficult. So now we are into P4, out of a podium contention, but obviously, guys, we weren't really hoping for a podium. So here we have the yellow flag, and now it's green, and now it has gone to yellow again. And why is that? I do not know, but we can still use ourselves to stay in front. And obviously, guys, 8 tenths behind Sonoda is and it's George Russell I was going to say that behind us was
Okay,
George
caution,
Russell,
caution.
and we have a
Virtual safety
VSC for
car is
that.
out.
Is it
Reduce
George
speed,
Russell who has,
maintain
well, we
positive.
know now it is George Russell who has DNF, and what happened to him? And he was just behind us, and oh my goodness, look at the smoke. He is accumulating there, and almost, look at that, he is a track hazard here. Guys, he is a track hazard here, and look at that. So he is trying to join the racing line. Why is he trying to do that? And look at that, guys. He almost, well, Hamilton almost attacked, well, not attacked, but almost went into the back of George Russell. That is crazy. That was, I honestly do not understand how that was not a safety car. But honestly, we move away from there. We can do something here. Let's just go lap 7, guys. We have stayed in front. We still have 21 laps, but right now we now have to decide what to do with these inters, because look at that, guys. Lap 8 at the end, we are now brick orange on those tires, and obviously look at that. I am just sliding away onto the fast corners. Well, onto the fast corners, that is what it is. I do not know what I'm saying.
The track's going to be drying out quite soon. Be careful you don't burn out your tyres.
So that is good news for us, guys. The track is going to be drying out soon. That means if I can stay in front of these guys for 3-4 laps, that should be enough for us. And look at that, guys. 33 front wing is what I have, and it's going very difficult for us. Obviously, I do not think, well, we have to decrease the front wing for the hard tires, because that will be what I am pitting on, guys. And look at that, guys, 73%, and the rear tires are boiling, guys.
No
Here.
threat of rain for the time being. Conditions look good. We're not certain which is the best tyre right now, dries or inters.
Okay, so he is not certain. Our engineer is not certain, but that doesn't matter, guys, because look at the track. It's almost dry. It is dry, honestly. So that's why I have decided I am going into the pits at the end of this lap, and at the end of lap 10, 18 laps is what we have to do on those hard tires, which honestly might be a little difficult, but I think, guys, we can do it. So into the pits he goes, because look at that, 83% tires. We won't able to do anything about it. That's why I thought, you know what, let's just go into the pits. And we have a yellow flag, and what it is for, I do not know. But here we have 2.8 pit stop, obviously, because the turning was only good, not perfect, but that doesn't matter, guys. Let's just go. And I still don't know why that yellow flag was, who was it for, and we are going to continue. Look at that, guys. We are going to stay behind these guys, and it's Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz has DNF, and he was trying to overtake Ocon. Did he DNF while trying to overtake Ocon? Yes, he was. Look at that, how slow he has to go, and such an amazing race that Williams was having. Obviously, they had amazing chance to score a point in the sprint, but what the reason he wasn't able to do. So obviously at the end of lap 11, starting lap 12, guys, and every one of these guys are now pitting, but I think, guys, I did the right thing, and there is Lewis Hamilton trying to stay in front. But obviously, guys, our hard tires have warmed up a little bit better than Lewis Hamilton, and we are going to overtake him very easily, and we have done that. That wasn't that easy, as I was saying, because you have to go around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. But guys, now the game for us is to stay in front. Obviously, Jack Doohan and Liam Lawson is in front of me, and it doesn't matter, guys, because these guys are going to pit very soon, obviously at the end of this lap. So obviously we know, guys, that the car behind us pit onto the hard tires, and there at the start of lap 13 we were the fastest car onto the grid. But obviously, guys, it doesn't really matter, because the top 3 is going to be much faster than us. Obviously we now have a little bit of a stretch in the race, but obviously, guys, I am going to slow these guys down, because for me, I was very scared about going for 18 laps on these hard tires. That's why I went very slow after the first 3 or 4 laps, because this is the 3rd lap, and right now I am trying to push ourselves in front of Lewis Hamilton, and trying to get away from him and out of his DRS. But obviously, guys, it isn't going to be that easy, because Lewis Hamilton, look at that, after pushing so much, he is now 3 tenths behind us only, and behind him is Oscar Piastri. That's why, guys, I thought, there is no point doing anything, and Lewis Hamilton tries to go for it, but we go around the outside, outbreaking him very much, and we have done it, and we are now again back into P4. Obviously, the other guys have pit now, and this is now fighting for a 2 position for us. Obviously, guys, it's going to be very, very important for us that we stay here. But let's just see on to lap 15, guys. Look at that. The tire wear is 17%. So I started calculating and starting to see what can we do, where I have to save my tire so that we can stay in front of Lewis Hamilton. Obviously, look at that, with the help of DRS he tries again, but again, guys, he will fail because we are much faster right now onto the DRS straights, because obviously we have the battery to push. Obviously, guys, before the traction zones I try to just back away a little bit to push ourselves in front and keep these guys behind. That also works. And look at that, guys, after just one lap our tire wear was 4% onto the rears. So that in my mind was like we are going on to the 70% mark. So I have to save these tires. Only time I use my tires are in the DRS traction zones and when someone tries to overtake us. So that's why, guys, lap 21 we are still trying to save our tires. Only 37%, guys. Look at that. 7 laps to go. We have still saved our tires a little bit much.
Okay, gap to the car in front, 44.2 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Their tyres are 9 laps old. Time last lap, 1 minute 39.9. Okay, so they're extending their advantage by 2 seconds a lap at the moment.
And look at that, guys, 2 seconds a lap. Well, Charles Leclerc and obviously Lando Norris, that's how fast these guys are right now from me. But it's not because I do not have the pace. So after, guys, I started to think that I started to know that I've calculated very, very wrong my tire wear. I thought this lap 24, I am going to push and see what my real pace is, because, guys, it was annoying because I have to go non-ERS almost everywhere other than the DRS straight. So on this lap I decided let's push as much as we can. Obviously Lewis Hamilton has still stayed with us because obviously he has a much better car, so he has much better pace. But here we have, look at that, at the end of lap 24, 2 green sectors. Let's see what this time it's going to be, and race to the line. We go 2 seconds faster than our fastest lap time. That's how much I was saving.
And gap to the car in front, 48.9 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Their tyres are 12 laps old. And the time last lap, 1:39.9. We're gaining by around 0.2 per lap.
So look at that, guys. This is my real pace, and almost going wide there, but this is my real pace, guys. This is actually the pace I have, but obviously I cannot use this pace because we have Lewis Hamilton on the back of us, so I have to defend against Lewis Hamilton more than I can push for Charles Leclerc, who is 50 seconds in front. So it doesn't really matter now because he is way too far in front and I am not even trying to fight Charles Leclerc. So here we have to do with 3.5 laps to go. 3 laps is the only lap we have to defend. Let's just see. And Lewis Hamilton tries to do something, but obviously he was just a little bit far from us. So we have now only 3 laps to defend because these half laps aren't really counting because this is not somewhere these guys can fight us. So lap 26 onto the main straight, onto the main DRS straight. Here is Lewis Hamilton who will get the DRS, and look at that, he will try to go in front and we will switch from around the outside through the inside, pushing Lewis Hamilton a little bit, but we broke so late that Lewis Hamilton, we cleared Lewis Hamilton, his whole car. Obviously he didn't even try to switch back us, which means we are now back into P4 with 2 laps to go. Can we stay in front of these guys? Obviously their tire wear is much better than ours. We have 56% tire wear, and after lap 25 I thought that we can now use our tires, and I have started to do it. Last 2 laps is what we can do, and here is Lewis Hamilton again trying to attack me. But obviously, guys, we have the measure of Lewis Hamilton. And obviously on turn 1 I also defended against any kind of switchback attempt from Lewis Hamilton. So on to the lap 27, starting now the final lap of the race. Now there are only two places where Lewis Hamilton can attack us, and into turn 1 he hasn't actually done anything. So he is trying to attack us onto the second DRS straight, but here is Max Verstappen who wins the sprint and now wins the main race, and 20 seconds behind him is Lando Norris, who didn't really have the pace of the Max Verstappen but had enough of a pace to stay in front of this man Charles Leclerc, who had ended his race into P3. And here we have, guys, look at this is how far we are. They have won the race and we are now coming onto the second DRS straight. But look at that, guys, 61% tire wear and Lewis Hamilton is just a little behind us. So this time we have done it, guys. Lewis Hamilton is way too far behind. He won't be able to do anything, and we have stayed in front of Lewis Hamilton and we have secured ourselves P4. Amazing work, guys. Obviously we saved our hard tires for around 13-14 laps. Only 4 laps or 5 laps is what we pushed on these hard tires. That's why it is 62% after using these tires for 18 laps. 18 lap strength is what we did on these hard tires, and we have made it work, guys. We have made it work. And around the inside onto the last corner, what am I saying, it doesn't matter, and we are enjoying this P4, guys, and we have done it. We have done it. We are now into P4 and we have finished the USGP into P4. Amazing race. We had the pace too, guys, and the driver of the day goes
It's another victory and a champion's performance from Max Verstappen.
And it's one thing to win, but to win like that in total dominant style, that was a fantastic drive, and it is not one that we see very often.
From lights out to the checkered flag, each and every driver has this moment in the back of their mind. Now it's time for their celebrations. Our podium, it awaits. But there can only be one on the top step. Your number one, Max Verstappen.
Obviously, what a crazy race. Max Verstappen won the sprint and the main race, but Charles Leclerc, even after not finishing in front of Lando Norris, he still got equal points from this race. So this means we are going into the penultimate round of Brazil with 2 points. Charles Leclerc behind Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri has now, I think, 15 points behind. He is not in any contention, guys. But look at that, Carlos Sainz and George Russell are the only two behind. And look at that, guys, it was 14 points. Yeah, Charles Leclerc is in front of Oscar Piastri by 14 points and 16 points in behind Lando Norris. Well, sorry, that is Oscar Piastri behind Lando Norris by 16 points. Obviously, guys, McLaren has won the championship. Well, not 100%, but they have won because Lewis Hamilton does not have the pace. So guys, if you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.